Hello friends, this is, this is the fourth video lecture of our constitutional law series. Today we will be discussing Article 29 and Article 30 relating to rights to minorities. So now who are minorities? So the first question is, who are minorities? So minorities, the word minorities is not defined in our constitution. So which section of citizen will constitute minority will largely depend on the demographic of a state. Thereby, the status of a minority will not be known on the national basis or on the country basis, but on the individual state basis. For example, a Hindu can be a minority in Jammu and Kashmir. So therefore the word minority is on the state basis, demographic of a state, but not on the country basis. So now we will see what Article 29 is all about. So Article 29 states that any section of citizen residing in the territory of India having distinct language, script or culture of its own shall have right to conserve it. So two things are important: any section of citizens. So when it says any section of citizens, it includes both minority as well as majority. For example, there can be a situation in which a Hindu tribe, which is majority, though the Hindu religion is majority, but a Hindu tribe can have a distinct language or a script or a culture which needs to be protected. Then such tribe will be held as minority, even though it belongs to a majority religion. So that is why the word any section of citizen is given, because it considers both minorities and majorities. Both can be the minority as per section 29. The second important words are that they should have a distinct language, script or culture. Now the second clause says that no citizen shall be denied admission into an educational institution which is either maintained by state or receiving aid out of state funds. So what it says is that if a minority educational institution is receiving aid from the government or finances from the government, then it cannot restrict admission to non-minority students. It has also to give admission to the majority students because it is receiving finances or aid from the government. It can, reserve maximum seats for the minority for which it was made, but it cannot deny admission to the majority students. So these two clauses are there in Article 29. Now we have Article 30. So Article 30, it gives right to administer and establish. It gives right to minorities to establish and administer educational institution of their own choice. So all minorities. Now this minority should consist only on the basis of religion or language. So earlier in 29 it was saying any section, but here it is all minorities and also only on two bases, that is religion and language, shall have right to establish and administer educational institution of their choice, and the state shall not discriminate against any educational institution on the ground that it is under management of minority. So thereby this clause says that the state, while giving finances or fund or aid, should not discriminate between a minority institution and a majority institution. So we have two important points. One was discussed in Naresh Agarwal versus Bharat. So what the case was regarding Aligarh Muslim University. So the point over here is, if you want to say that a particular institution is a minority education institution, then it must be established by the minority community. Since Aligarh Muslim University was established by the Act of Parliament. Thereby, the court said that that this is not a minority institution. Secondly, if the Parliament or if the government is making mother tongue as a mandatory language in minority institution, then that is not a violation of Article 29 or 30. Such interference is allowed. So now what are the differences between Article 29 and 30? So in St. Xavier's College versus State of Gujarat, the differences were stated that Article 29 relates to any section. Any section includes both majority and minority, whereas Article 30 includes only linguistic, language and religious minorities. So this was the main difference. Then Article 29 is related to language, script and culture, whereas Article 30 is only on language and religion. So Article 29, it conserves language. Article 30 administers educational institutions. Article 29 is about, it does not deal with education, but Article 30 deals only with establishment and administration of educational institutions. So now this is a very important point. Power of government to regulate minority institutions. So what are the power of government to regulate minority institutions? So this right given under Article 31 is not an absolute right. The state may step into to maintain the standard of education. It can give security and protection to the teachers and to the staff. The regulation may be made in the interest of discipline, health, sanitation, morality, public order, etc. But this regulatory measure should not be such which abrogates the right of administration. And you know what right of administration includes? It includes right to choose its own managing or governing body. It includes right to choose its teachers. It includes right of how to use properties or asset of the institution for the benefit of the students, and it also includes right to admit students of their choice. So these are the rights which the government cannot take, but other than that, some regulatory measures government can definitely bring into. So now we have a very important case of Frank Anthony Public School versus Union of India. So in this case, the Supreme Court observed that the idea of giving special right to minorities is not to have any kind of privilege or pampering that section of the population, but it is to give them a sense of security and feeling of confidence. So it is not to pamper them or to give them a privileges. It is just to give them a security of feeling and confidence. Also, the court said that the regulatory measures aimed at making minority institutions effective instruments for imparting education without nullifying the management's right in substantial measures are permissible. So the regulatory measures which makes minority institution effective and it does not nullify the management's right, then such measures are permissive. Now we have St. Stephen College versus University of Delhi. In this case, the court said that since St. Stephen is a minority-based institution, so it does not bound by every rule of the University of Delhi, and it also held that that even though college is affiliated with University of Delhi, but after affiliation it does not lose its minority character. So the court said that Article 29(2) applies to minorities as well as non-minorities. So the special right given to minorities under Article 30 cannot be taken even after the college is affiliated to University of Delhi. So that is why St. Stephen's do not follow many of the University of Delhi norms, and it can take more Christian students. It can reserve seats for them. It can just have interview to take them. It can form any rules for the admission of the students of the minority group. Now we have a very important case called TMA Pai versus State of Karnataka. Now this case is really important. This was 11 bench judge case. So 11 judge bench case de decided this case. So it related to the rights of unaided educational institutions and aided educational institutions. So as far as unaided educational institutions are concerned, unaided, minorities have an untrammeled right, unlimited right to establish and administer unaided educational institution, while the institution which receives state aid could be subject to government rules and regulation. But an unaided has an untrammeled right. So in respect of unaided institution, the only regulation a state government can bring is regarding the qualification and minimum condition of eligibility of teachers. So regarding the qualification and minimum eligibility of teachers, the state can bring regulation in unaided minority. So the only regulation it can bring in unaided minority institution. The state can make no laws regarding admissions or fees in unaided minority institution. The appointment of teaching and non-teaching and control over them will always be vested in the management of unaided institutions. Now, as far as aided institutions are concerned, the state can provide that aided institutions should show some consideration to the weaker section of the society. So it can provide some seats for them. An aided institution will be entitled to have right of admission of belonging to minority group. At the same time, they will be required to admit reasonable extent of majority student. So since they are getting finances, so article 29 subclause 2 will come into force. So they can reserve seats, they can give to the minority group, but some reasonable extent they have to keep for the non-minority group. So this was the major point which was discussed here. Also, it was discussed that a minority institution may have its own procedure and method of admission. It can have its own method and procedure of admission, but such procedure must be fair and transparent. It should be fair and transparent. And selection in professional and higher courses should be done solely based on merit. So this was what was discussed in TMA Pi case. Therefore, the right given under Article 30 is not absolute right. Now comes the Islamic Academy. So there were 4 questions asked. Whether the educational institutions are entitled to fix their own fee structure. So the court said that yes, they are entitled to fix their own fee structure, but capitation fees and profiteering, that will not be allowed. Other than that, they can, so no capitation fees and profiteering. Other than that, they can have their own fee structure. Also, the second question was whether minority and non-minority educational institutions stand on the same footing. So the court said that that laws regulation cannot be such that they favor majority over minority. So they are on the same footing, but they do not have the majority institution. They do not have the protection of Article 30. So Article 30 do give certain advantages to the minority institution. For instance, they have preferential right to admit students of their own community. So they are on the same footing as far as governments giving grant and giving all the rights to them. But the minority institution has got some protection under Article 30. So this was what was given, and then the major ratio was also that the test conducted for the admission by these institutions should be fair and transparent. And in fixing the quota for the student admitted by management of unaided minority professional colleges, the state government should keep local needs in mind in fixing the quota for the management seats. Now we have the final case, PA Inamdar case, in which it was stated that minorities should be defined by the demography of a state, and there will be 3 types of minority institutions: those who seek aid, those who only want recognition, and those who do not seek aid. So it also said that the minority institutions are on better footing. The unaided professional institution will have full autonomy in their administration. So This is all